Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. It's been a while, and by that I mean like 6 months. No, more like 5. Everyone. Oh wow, double audio. Stop. There we go. Sorry about that. Double audio, super professional. The best kind of stream is a stream within a stream, am I right? Hey Thomas, welcome to the stream. So, it's been a while since I've done art streams. I kinda dropped the pattern, I didn't pick it up for a while, so I'm gonna be super rusty. It's gonna be hilarious and embarrassing, but I hope you'll join and enjoy the show. So, to give a brief preface before we begin drawing for real. Let me just grab a brush here. Anyway, so before we start drawing for real, I've been scribbling some ideas for this one. I went through 2 rounds of thumbnails. A lot of people seem to like the monster stuff, like here, this one and this one. I tried to combine the ideas into a few more ideas, and this one ended up winning the popular vote, so to speak. So I figure I'll change that into a full-blown illustration. Mostly just going to be refining this, adding a bit more detail, nothing too complicated. You'll notice I've kept it very simple as compared to the autumn drawing that was my first stream. That's because I think I want to focus on technique rather than trying to make overly complicated works. If that makes any sense. So, well, without further ado, let's start drawing. Let me just quickly check all the chats. There are also people watching on YouTube, probably through the Watch Me Work platform. So, hello. I won't be able to comment too much on the other streamers' artwork, because I'm kind of juggling a few different platforms at the same time. But I hope everyone is having a good time. The previous drawing, you mean the Halloween, the autumn one from last year? Yeesh. I'll have to find that for a second. Please wait 1 second. And there it is. Thanks for watching, everyone. This was a pretty hard illustration to make. I'll see you next time. Nah, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. This is it. This was last year's Halloween drawing. It's got a lot more little details in it, but I think maybe I lost focus at some point and it isn't quite as polished in some places as it could have been, you know. You always look back at works like these thinking, you know, maybe I could have done better. Thank you, thank you. It is still work I'm quite happy about, but like the Christmas one I made was a lot more polished. But anyways, enough reflecting upon the past. Let's make this into something nice. I have gathered a few simple references just to help me get started, which I will occasionally take a peek at. Thank you, thank you. Choosing the colors can be a really tough thing for me sometimes. Right, so we're just gonna turn this into a bit of a sketch, maybe refine a few things about it, not draw on the wrong layer. Stuff like that. So let's start with a pretty thin brush, I guess. Just to get started. This will be pretty rough. This is kind of a rocky, Adrian? No, it's kind of a cliffside with a cave where the dragon presumably came out of. Maybe I should do some stalagmites or something from the roof. Give it a slightly more cave-like appearance. Speaking of colors, I will have to think carefully about how to color this one. So I definitely went for the autumn colors of the last one. Maybe I want to be a bit more dramatic. I'm thinking maybe some purple at the very least. Purple is a nice, scary color. I suppose it depends on how you use it, but I appreciate purple as a scary color. I've also just put on a playlist of my personal favorite, more relaxing music, but if it gets annoying, you're free to ask for me to turn it off. Also, is my audio working okay? I feel like it should be, but sometimes my settings are not quite right, where I keep maxing out the microphone, which makes the sound quality drop a lot. Like, my sound quality was probably not perfect, but it should be pretty good, pretty decent. Like, not on the level of studio sound, but definitely Let's Player-ish. What? That was not my intention. I just hope I can get this done before Halloween rolls around. I mean, if I dedicate enough time to it, it'll probably get done, but you know how I sometimes procrastinate. It's easy to delegate tasks to the mysterious territory of tomorrow. There, isn't that an adorable pumpkin? Maybe it's kind of just sitting on there. Maybe it needs like a reason it's attached. Maybe it has little vines growing out of it. This just looks weird now. It looks like it has legs. There, let's grow a few more. Let's grow a few more. Let's put a few more on there. That kind of makes it look a bit insect-like, doesn't it? I'll keep it for now and see if I still like it after a while. You know, I've always loved that pattern of an arching sea serpent. It's at the same time, I've always found it kind of creepy. Like this idea of a creature approaching you and you keep seeing these like parts of it stick out from the water like that. At the same time, it's kind of cool. There was a part in the old Chronicles of Narnia. The old Chronicles of Narnia, I don't think there's a new one. There was a part in the Chronicles of Narnia, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, which is the 5th book, where they get attacked by a sea serpent while on the sea, and that always freaked me out a little bit. I mean, I've never been the biggest fan of deep water, and especially not when there's stuff in it. Fortunately, this dragon is a cute one. Or rather, sea serpent, or whatever you want to call it. Look at that thing. Maybe his eyes should be even bigger. Like, I definitely want to go for the cute angle on this one. So, Thomas, you're working on a cool animation, right? Nice, I'm looking forward to seeing the result of that. Yeah, maybe I can do something cute with his little nostrils here. I'll give them a little swirly shape. I've always liked the swirly shape for nostrils. It's cute and stylish. Maybe we ought to give his nose a bit more of a separated feeling to really emphasize the form of it. After all, it's kind of like, you know, I am not defining the three-dimensional form as much as I should be, but this is kind of what it is, right? Kind of this rectangle attached to the head. Ah, right, that's a good plan. Yeah, start with the most extreme parts of it, so you can really define how the motion is gonna work without, you know, starting right away. Yep. At the very least, you want those keys established as quickly as possible. Yeah, I kind of like it when his nose is separate like that. It's delightfully goofy. Maybe it's a bit too goofy. And he needs another pumpkin on his back, of course. Wow, my throat is just dying. This is what I get for taking streaming breaks. My throat just breaks. I try to make it a point to clear my throat and mute the microphone while I do it, because if there's something that annoys me, it's people who have like who need to desperately clear their throat, but they keep talking. It makes me feel uncomfortable to listen to. I mean, I get it, right? You want to finish what you say, but at the same time, I can't deal with that. There. Isn't that a nice pumpkin? One thing I'm definitely worried about is this channel. I've been kind of flip-flopping on what to do with it, right? Because I started being a pure art stream channel, then I flipped to a pure gaming channel, and now I'm both. Now I'm a combination of the two. Which I think the luxury of flip-flopping is something I might not have currently. So maybe I need to commit. I was worried that I had to commit to one thing. But maybe I should just do what I like and not expect any fame out of it. Though I was secretly hoping to make it to Twitch affiliate one day. You know, be able to receive bits and subscribers and have my own emote on the Twitch platform. That would be nice. No idea what I'm doing with these little characters. So the question is, are these decorations attached to the dragon, or are they creatures that are tagging along with the dragon? Like with these weird little legs and such, it kind of makes me think like they're creatures with pumpkin heads traveling along with the dragon. Perhaps moving to warmer countries for the cold season now that the autumn has come around. I don't know, that sounds like a pretty cute idea, doesn't it? Apparently my microphone just died for a while there. Very strange. And my bitrate isn't very good either. Right, apparently the microphone cord was getting loose, though we're back now. Seems like there's always something going wrong, huh? Technical issues all across the board. Of course, now it looks like this poor pumpkin is sitting on those spikes. Let's not think too much, just don't think about it. It's easier that way. That's how I deal with all my problems. Yeah, it also probably needs like a unique texture for around the spines. Every time I say the word spine, I immediately think immediately think of the program Spine that I often use to animate. I wonder if there would be a market for streaming spine animation. It's very different and less organic than your average art stream, I guess. Like I can just kind of draw stuff right from the wrist right here, but that option wouldn't be there for Spine. Like Illustrator is a lot more technical and methodical. A bit more like 3D modeling, really. You know, it's all about naming the stuff properly, thinking about the mesh, deciding the weights of bones and all that. Still, I would be up for doing that sometime if there's an audience for it. But I'm afraid that switching up software even more will lead to even less consistency in my streams. So I don't know, maybe not. We'll have to see. Alright, we've been listening to this music for 15 minutes now. I think that's enough. Commercials. Come on, YouTube. I turned off adblock to support the artists I like, but unfortunately, a lot of people who just re-upload music also put ads on it, which is, I think, is a little bit evil. I love this song. Might add some more of those little spines right here. I'm not sure if you would logically, wow, my voice, would logically see those spines from this angle, but I'm still gonna draw them in. Because sometimes it's less about what makes sense and more about what looks good. We don't really know exactly how this dragon is shaped. We're thinking he's a garden hose, but maybe he actually has some sort of weird shape that defies the laws of nature. Have you ever thought about that? Now, the cuteness levels aren't nearly high enough yet, so let's fix that. There, now he's a bit of smile. Look at him. I love him already. A little puffy cheek. It's definitely harder to keep an eye on the chat when I do art streams. Game streams are a bit more convenient in that regard. After we get the basic sketch down, which is still really rough and simple, I know, but once we get that down, I think we're gonna think about colors. Like maybe he has his tongue hanging out a bit, like a dog. Yeah, I think that's cute. Now I know this is a Halloween illustration, but that's more about the theme than the actual, like I'm not... I had actually thought about drawing something genuinely scary this time, like a few of my concepts included like maybe you're looking at a barn, there's a blood stain in front of the door, and ooh, spooky, scary skeletons. But when it really boils down to it, I think that doesn't really represent the kind of art I want to make. I like cute stuff. And people just generally like the dragon, so I have some drool or water or whatever come from his tongue. There. Details are just kind of appearing as we go along, huh? Now, of course, we give him lipstick and intense eyelashes. Okay, no, that's a bit too much. That's a bit too much. Look at this happy sea dragon bringing the holidays to people. Looks like our bitrate is stable again, and it looks like I haven't actually removed the microphone cord this time. So that's good. Sky is a bit plain, isn't it? One way to cheat at compositions is to close off the edges to force the viewer to stay inside of them. So we could do a bit of a bunch of clouds here. Not too close to the dragon, we don't want those lines clashing with each other. Yeah, I've also been streaming Banjo-Kazooie as of late. It's kind of shameful to say, but I hadn't actually played that game before now. Looking forward to continuing on that as well. It's quite a special game. Like, I had put it off a while, because there were some, like, this might be controversial to say, but I had some game design issues with DK64. I never finished that game. It's good, but it had a few things that I really disliked. Like having collectibles that you can arbitrarily only pick up as a specific character, even though other characters could touch it, you just couldn't pick them up. That was like, okay, come on, if you're gonna put collectibles, if you're gonna make collectibles that are character specific, then make sure you can only reach them with that character, right? Then design the level around that rather than just barring me from grabbing it. Like, if I find a collectible, I should be able to pick it up, right? That was my personal thought anyway. But Banjo, so far, this might again be controversial. I don't know what the average, what the general public opinion is. Banjo is a lot better, in my opinion. You've only got 2 characters for starters, but they are very mobile and varied. So yeah. The basic idea is pretty much done here. Yeah, we'll need some waves coming from where his body enters the water. Whoops, that was an unintentional zoom. I gotta remember all those hotkeys again. When I'm just drawing by myself, I have a tendency to do it the slow way. Just move over to things and click on them like a pleb. Like a scrub. But of course, learning to be more efficient is important. Require speed for mastery, after all. Let's make sure that makes a little bit more sense this way. Look at that. This is starting to look like something. At least I think it's pretty cute. Just briefly checking on the chats there. Yeah, maybe have 2 layers of cloud so we can... you don't want it to just look like a single flat color. Though of course we can always think about the colors as we do it. I wonder if it would look good or bad to have like the cliffside kind of continue on here. Just to give the background a bit more substance. Like just something basic, you know. Don't want it to look too boring. But at the same time it shouldn't distract from our adorable little boy here. This is actually a trick I used in one of my winter illustrations where smoke from the scene moves up into the clouds. That'd be cute to have like smoke coming from his little nostrils there. After all, he is a dragon slash sea serpent slash thingamajig. Yeah, that's kind of cute. Contextualizes the smoke being so close to the roof here. Like maybe have it cut out a bit here, so it definitely looks more like it's coming from him, rather than being normal clouds. Like maybe he's like Steamboat Willie. Yeah, let maybe add some perspective to those clouds. Some simple, basic perspective. So it kind of disappears here. Still dominates the top of the screen. Yeah, that's cute. Now it's kind of ambiguous whether he's creating all the smoke or whether he's just kind of blowing up into the clouds. I think that's cute. Right, there's a basic idea. But a basic idea is just a basic idea after all. So now what I want to do is think about our colors. Now I was thinking about doing something a bit with purple. So let's devise ourselves a color scheme, shall we? Maybe a bit on the bluish range of purple, like lilac-ish. Let's grab, now that we've gotten the sketch down, let's grab a slightly softer brush. Yeah, so we've already got a kind of a basic idea for what we want to do with the tone. The dragon is kind of the darkest thing here, so what if I make him a very dark, but very saturated shade of purple? What would happen then? We're gonna test it out. So this is just for experimentation's sake. Let me just... No need to be accurate about this, let's just splotch it in. Look at that intense purple. Now keep in mind this might not work, we're just trying something out, throwing something at the wall here. But I'm thinking I want purple to be the dominant color. And blue can be a nice secondary for the water and sky, and then maybe something a bit in the orange range for the lights and the eyes, you know, little contrasting color there. Officially, of course, purple's complement is yellow, but, you know, I never care too much about rules. Oh, hey, I see the sketch. That's cool. It's a woman in the middle of a forest clearing, I believe. Ooh, the Halloween edition of that one is very spooky. Very nice. Yeah, so I definitely want the dragon to have the darkest color. Maybe it would have been smarter to just draw in a full background color first. You know. Well, we can always still do that. So, what's our background color? I want something that kind of that doesn't quite contrast or complement with the purple, so maybe something a bit bluish. Yeah, let's try that. Let me just try something. You don't learn anything by sitting around and thinking about it. We just try and get something in there. There we go. Yeah, it's looking very cool, your drawing so far. Let's see, go kind of to the yellow end of the spectrum. Okay, that's not a nice color for the water. Water needs to be dark as well, but perhaps a bit closer to his color. It's maybe a bit too intense. No, That might be a bit too close to his color, but let's just check how it works. There we go. Oh, hey, Rockroller. I'm sorry to hear that, but it's fine. I appreciate you just stopping by and having a look. I guess. Oh, you probably can't hear me then. I'll send something in the chat. What? Right, so we have a color for the water. Let's see. Would be a bit too... It's hard to say. I don't want to go too intense, but I don't want to desaturate it either. One of my issues is definitely that, like, it's either... with my color schemes, it tends to either be intense neon or very grayish. Like I generally have some trouble finding the middle road. Right, so we have blue and let's pick a contrast color, namely orange. Now the very dark variant of orange. It's going to be used as a color for the a color for the shore, I guess. That's just brown. I'm not sure if that looks nice, but I'm gonna draw it in anyway. Just experimenting with a few colors here. Very dark and saturated pumpkins. And we could draw the spikes in a similar manner to make them look... Kind of makes it look like the pumpkins are part of the dragon that way. And have like a very bright contrasting orange, kind of like that. Have that light actually coming from inside of him too, and then have the light in the pumpkins as well. Not quite happy about this one yet. Like, I actually, ignoring, like, the background, I actually kind of like this. Maybe I just need to be less... Like, I have a tendency to make the sky blue, but maybe we can do something a bit more interesting. Kind of a yellowish thing, I guess. It removes the contrast from the pumpkins a bit, but probably strengthens the contrast with the actual dragon head. Because, of course, yellow and purple are contrasting colors. But a yellow sky doesn't exactly give that dark, atmospheric Halloween feel, does it? Yeah, I don't know about that one. Well, let's make this dark anyway. This probably needs to be darker too. Well, the dark definitely works a bit better, but... Let's see, and we would have like an illuminated area of the head, which would be somewhere in between of the orange and blue here. So if we were to go straight in the middle of that, it would be something like this. Some lighting here. Well, there are parts about it that I like, and there are parts about it that I don't really like. And what would be the absolute darkest spots on this dragon? Yeah, let's establish some dark areas to really get that contrast in. Huh. I like the dragon. I don't so much like the rest. Maybe we need something closer, not further. Let me try something. Let's save an alternate version just in case. You never know. You never know if you want to go back to a previous version. So, I'm gonna try something daring. Hot pink. Cause maybe the blue is too much of a clash. And I think pink is far away enough from purple to be distinct, but we would have to change the color of the water and the clouds as well if we're gonna do this. Oh, wait. I feel like a mad scientist, mixing and matching things that don't belong together. Well, I like the pink more, personally. Maybe I'm just terrible at perceiving which colors work together. Like I said, I've always had some trouble picking colors that really work well. Right, so... pink. Now, though, the brown doesn't fit. Well, I'm not sure if it ever fit well, but now it definitely doesn't fit. Right, so what to do about this brown here? Maybe try a slightly less colorful color. After all, this is more background stuff. Maybe that's where the blue needs to go, in a very desaturated kind. After all, sometimes I kind of stubbornly draw with the color I associate with something, so there will be a mountain and I'll draw it brown because rocks are brown. Without thinking about lighting conditions and all that. Not that this is particularly justifiable considering the lighting conditions, but the point is, things don't have one set color. In reality, it's all about what light falls on them, where the light is coming from, stuff like that. Except, so, this is very much a mid-range to dark thing, right? Because the water is actually... Like, I was thinking water reflects light, right? But in the dark, it doesn't. So it gets close to black. So... It would have to be a lot darker than this. Let's briefly peek at our old version here. So this is about where the water is. So this level of dark. So if we grab this color, make it as dark as this. So about here. How would it look then? Would it look good or bad? No, I don't think that looks very nice. Based on a cursory glance, anyway. Can't do that shadow underneath the actual body part segments, though. That look cool. Maybe hint at the actual dragon's body being under the water, because of course it's actually going a bit like this. Then a bit like this. So a bit like this and a little bit like that. There we go. This blue might be a bit too much, huh? Like, I tried to do it right in the middle of the orange and the surface color and the light color, but obviously it would depend on the strength of the light. So it seems like a sort of pinkish light is coming in from the top left. Also, I love this song. Sorry for going quiet, sometimes I'm just sitting here listening to the music. Well, like I said, I kind of like the colors on the dragon, but not so sure about these mountains yet. Apparently my playlist just ended randomly, okay. Let me just get a new song up. There we go. Kind of a horizon going here. Although that makes it look a bit more like a sunrise, I guess. I just like the way it looks. I think the little human characters can probably be a bit like the dragon. Like maybe they're dressed up in his colors, like to honor his bringing of Halloween or something interesting lore like that. And there we go. I think you can pretty much see what the vocal point is pretty far away. Maybe the shadows need to be a bit more intense. Let's try that. As a rule, we don't want our work to be too static. Also, in terms of the stream, can't be stuck on one thing for too long. That would just be boring. We want to see some change. We want to see some progress. I am pretty interested in viewer opinions on like the pink and blue here. Like I think the dragon works pretty well. Like maybe I exaggerated the light a little bit, but I will be interested to hear in how the pink works, cause I always have trouble when I draw a character. It's just like a few colors, you know. Or I make an iteration based on an existing design. It's pretty basic, but actually thinking of a color scheme for an environment, I may always have some trouble with that. Yeah, light is a bit too much, especially if it's coming from inside the mouth. You would have kind of a backlight, but not too much. Make the upper clouds a bit darker. The mountainside a bit darker as well. I do appreciate putting my playlist on shuffle. Sometimes you hear some stuff you haven't heard in a while. I have a tendency to just start from the top, but that always leads to me hearing the same tunes. Oh right, I am kind of going off of the values in the original sketch. Admittedly, it's not 100% accurate, but you can see it's like a fairly close approximation. But yeah, that's a good thought. Like when I drew the autumn drawing, it was also kind of a gradient between orange and green, orange being for brighter and green being for darker. That could be an interesting way to examine it. It's always worth a look. Okay, so I would start with purple, since purple is my important color here. Purple would be like the main event, I guess. Let's briefly turn this off. Ooh, that bright color there. That's not a nice color. It's always fun to look at it without the lines, though it looks a bit weird. Poor toothless pumpkin man. Let's see. So you feel like the dragon would have to be a bit brighter, or at least have more shading. Like I've just been piling on the very dark and very bright colors to prevent falling into the trap I usually fall into, which is getting an overly desaturated drawing. I guess the intended composition, or like the order in which you look at things, is starting here and going from here to there. Like the bottom left is just kinda there. Like these guys, this is just an audience watching. The actual path you're supposed to follow is more in this arc, I guess. The rest is kind of just this edge and this edge kind of exist to close in on the dragon, I guess. Or that was my intention anyway. So would you say that we would benefit from having some... Because I was actually getting rid of white space earlier, like adding these clouds and adding these cliffs here, just to force, like, so that like the point was that this was gonna be the focus, you know, from here to here to here. The rest just being the support, so to speak. So you might notice this on repeat viewings or whatever, but it's not important. Like, this is the important stuff, basically. Important stuff, basically. I think I just doubled the audio again. Sorry. Professional streaming. So would you like, Thomas, for example, would you make the middle part like a bit smaller to allow for a bit more breathing room? Because it's actually, when I'm looking at it, right, this distance is far greater than this distance. So what if we, let me just be really rough about this. I almost started whistling into the microphone. Yikes. So that's a no-no. Right, so it would be kind of here. Yeah. Then you would do something of the like to the colors as well. Something like that. Would that be supply like the space that it needs? Just adding a bit more distance. I feel like it's more balanced that way, but I'm interested to hear if you feel the same way. Chrono Trigger has such good music. That game was really ahead of its time. Man, it's tough to get back into, but you know what? I'm really stoked to be doing an art stream again. I should do that more often. It's been so long, you know? Let's see, I think we're still stable in terms of frame rate, so that's good. Ah, there we have Earthbound music. I do think that adds a bit more space to the whole thing. Maybe the pumpkin is a bit too big. It's something I'm thinking about. That's fill up that weird rectangular empty space. Right, I think that's a little better. The head is the... oh, that's the intention anyway. The head is supposed to be the payoff, yeah. I think that's your final destination in terms of the drawing. What? That was a bit too extreme of a zoom there. We haven't strayed very far from the original yet. Right, so this is the first color test we've made so far. Now, based on your feedback, I might have a look at a few other possibilities. Well, wait. So you mentioned that you feel like the tone of the dragon is too dark in this context. Because, to be fair, I didn't actually pick out the colors to be accurate. I just kind of forced this area, tried. Tried is the key word here. I tried to make this the area of greatest contrast by having purple, blue, and orange against the pink. And the brightest, this is the brightest shade in the piece. Even brighter than the light from the pumpkins. So that's kind of how I tried to establish it as the payoff. Alrighty, see you later. Let's see. It's been so long since I've done a painting. I think the last one was in March or January or February, because we actually did make what did we make? No, we did. We have been working on spiritual matters in the streams, and that lasted until I think May, and then I just stopped. And then a few months, or rather weeks ago, I started doing game streams, starting with Paper Mario Pro Mode. This sure has been an interesting channel so far. I mean, it isn't exactly gonna keep a consistent viewership if I'm not consistent, but... well, that's what we're experimenting for, eh? I had always hoped that we could do art and game streams back to back. But I've been favoring game streams because they're easy. Like this is quite challenging, because the only thing I have to bounce off of, to react to, is my own work. Which, you know... you can understand that's a bit hard. But hopefully I can try to schedule this consistently. Problem is, I don't live alone, and there is no way to really have a set schedule because people have their own schedules, and you know, people go to bed. So I would have to do daylight streams, but that would interfere with my work schedule, and I kind of want to be available to other people at that time, so there's always something, huh? Anyways, that was color test 1. Let's start fresh and try something new. After all, we still have 2 weeks. We still have plenty of time. So let's examine our values here. What is the brightest color? First off, let's not draw on our sketch, because that would be a terrible idea. Let's make color test 2. Let's try that that thing we did with the Halloween drawing from last year, which is have from dark to light also be a color gradient. It's an interesting method, and I think it really your composition and tone can really benefit from such a thing. Of course, it might be a bad idea to make the beach this bright, but you know, we're just gonna try it. Let's not try to be too accurate about it, because that just leads to tears. Let's see, then the second brightest is the sky. By the way, if anyone has a different suggestion for color schemes, I'm always up for trying things. This is a very chill, experimental stream, so everyone is always welcome to suggest what you want. I just appreciate that people are here at all. It's always nice to have people watching the stream. One of the things that was the most scary thing about the old streams way back when was definitely just sitting there and keep looking at the chat and no one's there. Of course, friends like Thomas have been visiting the streams a lot, but still, it's I've always hoped that I could build up like a big Twitch audience someday. And I'm glad that I've gotten more followers, and now I hope I can one day get the Twitch affiliate status. That would be nice. A few YouTube subscribers would be very nice as well, but you know. I feel like even though the color is pretty consistent, I might be having the pen pressure on or something. Yeah, that's what I thought, so let's turn that off. This sure is getting interesting in terms of color scheme. Maybe I should have done some kind of background color here. Well, shoulda, coulda, woulda, it's never too late. Those are some pretty Halloween-y colors at the very least. I keep forgetting that I have like extended versions of songs in my playlist, which means sometimes they play for like a long time. This one has been going on for 10 minutes, please. It's a nice tune, but you have to move on. Look at that purple though. Nothing says Halloween atmosphere like steel drums. Oh yeah. Actually, now that we're talking about Halloween, again with the ads on the music. Scandalous. Music. I am actively resisting the urge to start singing along. In this town we call home, everyone hail to the pumpkin song. I failed to resist it. So you mentioned something about it being a bit too dark, this particular tone. Because in my original I just kind of made the dragon the darkest thing, like I said, just kind of arbitrarily forcing the contrast here. But I'm wondering, It's also kind of that whole thing we did in, well, anyway, what I learned like was things that get closer to the camera can be darker, stuff like that. So I could make this one a bit less dark and that one even less dark, and see how that works. Experimentation is key, after all. Yeah, the beach definitely shouldn't have such a bright color. Let's tone that down a bit. It couldn't be darker, brighter rather than the sky. That makes no sense. That would be even more against the laws of nature. Unless it was actually like illuminated somehow. Like maybe if it were snowing, that could happen. It could be as bright as the sky at the very least, but it still wouldn't be like the sky. Let's try to brighten him up a bit and only leave the darkest areas to be as dark as that. Let's see how that works out. Halloween, Halloween. Yeah, rather than making the whole thing dark, maybe the key here is to just strengthen the shading. Now we'll show the contours of him underwater. I was gonna worry if this would get copyright claimed, but I recently lost my YouTube partnership. Or rather, I lost it. YouTube changed the rules so that it never existed. Maybe that's more accurate to say. They kind of changed the rules so channels need to have at least 10,000 total views, which neither of my channels do. Though my art channel is close, it's at like 8,000. We should probably light those waves so you don't Welcome back! I'm just experimenting with that gradient idea. Just kind of to compare and contrast. Let's quickly put these together. Obviously, this one is not as finished yet. But that gives you a decent impression of what we're starting out with here. Ah, cool. Yeah, this works better. I'm gonna try and refine this. It's definitely interesting to work with a lot of color again, because as you may have seen, I've recently been developing a style where I use at most 1 or 2 colors. That's not very good for my color practice, so I really need to get back into it. But thanks a lot for helping me out, Thomas. I really appreciate it. It's always nice to have you here. Maybe if a little light come from the back there. We'll blend it all together with softer brushes once we're agreed that we found a nice color scheme here. Yeah, so since the light is kinda coming from here, you might, because this is a mountain, we might have to, but we don't want this to look exactly like the water. We'll fix that once once all the colors are bright in their proper place. So areas lit by this should be lit with this color, because that's the one next in the gradient. Everyone hail to the pumpkin song. I could listen to this song for hours. We'll probably switch to another spooky tune soon. Right, we are reaching dangerous levels of spooky with this drawing. Okay, it's not that spooky, but it's mostly just adorable, really. Let's just quickly get this in there. As rusty as I am, this still isn't as hard as it was when I began. So that's something. Some semblance of shadows in here, I guess. Maybe add a suggestion of light here. Maybe a little bit here too. This is kind of cheating, but I want to force this to be the absolute strongest point, so maybe I'm gonna give this a slightly more intense yellow. It's kind of cheating, but you know, sometimes cheating is the best policy. After all, we want the head to be the absolute payoff here. Whoops, another of those accidental zooms there. Right, let's I think we're coming to a close here with the stream, but let's tweak a few more things while we reflect upon this spooky tune. Not that spooky tune. Please, YouTube, just work. I like this tune. Like, at first it's like, okay, one of those old-timey piano type things. No, it's alright, it's not that interesting, and then the violin comes in and redefines what scary Mario music can be. This is just a beautiful track in general. I love it. Would it make sense for the water to be a bit brighter near the shore? I feel like it would. Let's try that. I love the violin. The violin is one of those instruments that's, I guess, it's always intense, right? It's not a subtle instrument. It's either intensely sad, intensely scary, or intensely happy. It's kind of what I love about it. Very few instruments have that level of intensity. Like the piano has total range, has broad range, but well, I respect the intensity of the violin too. There should probably be shadows below the body segments as well. And add a suggestion of a shadow to the head too. Shadow the hedgehog. The hedgehog. Right. There's a new concept. Now I'll have to think of a few ways to refine it. I'm actually kind of debating whether I want to make a painting of this or whether I want to do my more traditional hard lines, hard shadows type thing for this drawing. I definitely want to do more full-blown illustration, so I'm definitely gonna have to pick up my composition and shading, something fierce, but the way I'm gonna apply them is something I've been wondering about. Alright, let's go to the Mario Galaxy spooky tune. It's not quite 3D World, but I like it. It's definitely more on the more spooky side. Like the 3D World is the kind of sad that's like it's the kind of scary that's a bit sad, which works very well for me. For some reason, those emotions really go hand in hand with me, being scared and being sad. Maybe it's just a human thing. Or maybe it's just a me thing. And again with the violin. Every time I hear one, I have to pretend I'm playing a violin for a moment. I wonder if he would benefit from having a pupil as well. I actually think that makes him less cute. Yeah, I don't know about the pupil. It does kick up the contrast a notch, but I'm not sure if I actually like it very much. Kind of a sideways snake or goat-like eye could be a thing. Or maybe a little heart, because he loves us all. No, that's a bit too anime for me. Oh, look at that tiny pupil. Now he looks like he's about to murder someone. Yeah, maybe do something cool with the eye though. Like, kind of mimic the texture that an iris usually has. Nah, that just looks strange. It's too bereft of subtlety. With that sort of lit up pupil, it kind of makes it seem dead, so let's not do that. Anyways, that's been 2 hours, so I think I'm gonna stop the stream for now. Just gonna do some quick polishing up there. But yeah, I am a bit tired. It is Monday after all, so I'm gonna take it easy from here on in. But I want to thank everyone who visited. I want to thank Thomas especially for offering some feedback and helping me get back into the swing of things. And I hope to see you on the next stream as well. So thanks a lot. Let me show you what we've done this stream once more before we close it off for real. So we started with this thumbnail. Then we added a little sketch to add some more detail to really expand on the idea. Then we did our first color test. And then we did our second color test. And that's where we are now. So altogether, quite a lot of progress, I would say. I'm really happy that we got this far, and hopefully next time we're gonna turn this into a full-blown illustration. Or at least make a good start on that. So, thanks again for watching the stream or watching the log on YouTube, regardless. And I hope you have a great day. Right, that has been the stream, so see you later.